Hey guys, sorry, this is my second attempt at doing this live because I was muted and I had to do this again. So, for all of you who joined in the first time and had to log out, I'm sorry, I apologize. But well, nothing's perfect anyway. And what if you did not have to wrong yourself or anyone else? Because judgment doesn't create. And welcome to today's call. I'm Shweta. For those of you who don't know me, for those of you who do know me, I'm grateful that you're here and we're talking about yeah, of course I'm grateful for all of those who don't know me too. So today I'm in a weird funk kind of a space where too much going on, this energy of overwhelm and kind of going into why the hell did I choose to do so much and where did the time go. So yeah, all of that kind of just showing up as um, me forgetting to unmute myself and somebody calling me just now who I really wanted to talk to, but then I couldn't get to talk to because I was on this call. And this is what happens, guys, when you kind of go into this point of view of what receiving is for you, what you're trying to create with whatever it is that you have at hand in the moment. And you go to point of view of judging yourself for wondering why you're doing what you're doing. Why did you have to create so much? Well, you like to do a lot together, I can tell you that if you're listening to this. And what great place to start to create and not to stop your receiving is no judgment of yourself or any other. However, judgment is this little devil that just pops up from places and makes you wrong yourself, makes you judge yourself, makes you try to be a perfectionist, makes you judge. And I've been looking at judgment in my world today, yet sometimes during the day feeling trapped by it, sometimes feeling I don't have the freedom to choose, sometimes feeling the presence of pressure and stress and trying to get more done than what was happening with ease. And what you got to realize is when you get into something like that, that just kind of constricts your world. It kind of makes it smaller and does not allow you to see where you're creating that which is a contribution to you, where you're creating and choosing that which is a contribution to others. It doesn't allow you to be the energy of creation and generation. So the all today is
Somebody
about
calling me
being
just
and
now.
receiving. And yes, I was checking if things are doing well on Facebook land because we're live on Facebook too. And all of you guys who want to join in this conversation on Zoom with me, if you have any questions, feel free to just scroll up and down the page. You'll find the Zoom ID to join in the Zoom call. Or if you're happy where you are in Facebook land, that's okay too. I'm grateful. So today's conversation is about being and receiving, and I wanted to begin this little intro about the Advanced How to Become Money Workbook. It's an amazing workbook, and it really opens up so much more beyond the How to Become Money Workbook, beyond those tools of uh, that you learn in the bars, the Access Bars class and the Access Foundation class, where you receive all of these tools to change everything in your life, everything. But I can tell you that these calls by Gary Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness, actually kind of open you to the awareness of what you truly know yourself inside. And when you listen to it, you can go, oh, why didn't I ever think of that? And that's what they did to me when I heard all the calls that he's done. It's a set of 9 calls, and it's amazing how each call has these tools, these questions. And the Advanced Money Workbook in itself is a workbook, so it's like it has some questions just like the money workbook, and it just goes beyond what we finish in the money workbook, which we've just done. Like I've done two money facilitated to how to become money workbooks in the last 3 months, and it has been such a pleasure, such gratitude for the people who chose it, for the people who were on. with so much changing, the receiving opening up, and money and things just flowing in from so many places. Like every time I facilitate it, every time I read the tools, every time I do a question, something shifts for me too. And like I was sharing, right, when like during the day today, it's been a hectic day. There's been so much creation, but there's also been this pressure, this stress, this judgment of things not turning out perfect, things not going the way. And then it just becomes this spiral that you keep going down into. Or what if you didn't have to do that anymore? Like, just take a moment and look at where you're judging yourself for your money, judging yourself for what you're doing, judging yourself for the life you're creating in so many different places. Sometimes you don't even recognize that there is judgment there. So please pause and look at where you have been judging yourself, where you have been making yourself wrong, and what is the underlying point of view there. Would you like to look at your money situation right now? Have you been judging yourself? Have you been judging how much money you're creating? Have you been judging how much you're not creating? Have you been judging how it's not exactly the way you want it to be? Have you been judging the people who work with you, for you, the people you work for? You see, now all of this judgment, it kind of just destroys creation, because the energy of judgment is so rigid, so solidified. It stops us from being who we are, because we've now gone into this little hole, which we'll call a point of view. So, like, a point of view is like a deep dark hole, which kind of just takes you in there with it and says, stay here, stay here, stay here. You know what? You're right in judging. You're right. You're wrong. And you're right that you're wrong. You're right. Those people are wrong. You're not creating enough. Yeah, it's like this little monstrous devil in your head that constantly tells you how you're wrong, how you just don't deserve to receive, how money is connected to deservability, how money is connected to how hard you work, how it is created to only the fact that you're going to get it if you work. If you do what somebody else tells you to do, if you're somebody else's slave, then they will pay you. Guess what? Are you paying yourself? Are you being kind to yourself? Are you being the currency of possibilities for yourself? That's one of the places where we kind of stop our receiving, where we um, go into self-debting. So there is this thing called self-debting. What is that? It's the space where we kind of go into putting ourselves last in everything. So how many of you go into self-debting or are self-debting by putting yourself last in everything? And a great example is in some Indian households, and I'm not judging people who do that, but it still happens. Okay, the women are the last ones to eat. The woman will not eat with the men, and this is not about men and women. It could be so many different places. Like, men sometimes I've seen put themselves last when they make it their job to bring in the money. They make it the job to look after things, take the responsibility of caring for the family, not only their immediate family, but maybe sometimes extended families. And again, no rightness or wrongness there, but then the pressure that they put themselves on and the judgment that goes with it kind of cuts off the being, takes the joy out of living. And then you wonder, why am I living anyway? What's the purpose of this? And if you're going down that track, please stop. Stop. That's where we cut off our being. That's where we cut off our receiving. So, what if the universe is abundant, full of infinite possibilities, desiring to give to you in these amazing different ways? What if there were multiple revenue streams you could have? And I'm not saying this out of theory or just reading it out of a book. I've actually kind of looked at, after using these tools, where I was judging myself, judging others. A great example is stocks. Okay, so I would never even think of investing in stocks, because my point of view used to be, oh, I can never win the lottery. How many of you have that point of view? I can never do this. And even before going there, or probably these two points of views are at that point of time seems disconnected, because yeah, a lot of places the stocks is a lottery, although it's not entirely a lottery, but that was a point of view I used to have. And then I would see my father invest in shares and my husband invest in shares and constantly be in front of the TV, watching the market go up and down. And I would be like, and then they would be very happy when the market would go up, because they had made money. Also, nothing was sold. And then when the market would go down, they're like, oh my God, we lost money. Yeah, but you haven't lost it yet. It might go up again tomorrow. That used to be, that still is my point of view. But I would never consider investing in stocks. And I didn't realize I have a point of view there. I didn't even realize that I was judging them, because I would judge them for wasting time. I would judge them for, getting happy for no reason and then getting sad for no reason. And all of those judgments kind of just kept me from receiving money from something that could give to me. And once I started applying these tools, like last year, I started investing in stocks. And oh boy, has it been fun? Have I made money? Yes, and yes, and yes. So, this is just one of the examples of how, when you begin to use the tools, you kind of see where all you're blocking your money flows, where all jewelry, for example, I had this point of view that, oh, I wouldn't buy jewelry. Why would I buy jewelry? And I used to pride myself in the fact that, I'm not one of those people who goes after jewelry. I didn't realize by having that point of view, I was cutting off my receiving. The receiving can come to you in any way. It can come to you as jewelry, it can come to you as cash, it can come to you as stocks, it can come to you as gifts. This is what the money workbook does. It begins to show you, and actually, again, my brain is going faster than my mouth. I apologize. This is what the money workbook does. It begins to show you these places where you might have judgments of things that are cutting off your receiving. And sometimes when we judge ourselves, we cut off our being. It's like you've cut off this part that could receive. If you judge that, oh, I don't have a capacity with money. I can't do this. I can't calculate. I'm not good with accounts. Oh, if the money comes in, I don't know how to handle it. And so many times these points of views are so well concealed and well hidden. Like I said, I didn't know I had a judgment about stocks, about shares. And I remember, like a year and a half ago, or maybe a couple of years ago, I was facilitating a foundation class, and there was this amazing a guy who used to invest in stocks. And I was like, wow, that's cool. What would it take for me to do that? Right. And partly there was this point of view of, I can't do that. you know but as you keep using the tools, the simplest tool being interesting point of view, have this point of view, and maybe you can begin using that, guys. For some of you who have done the how to make our money workbook, or some of you who haven't, just begin to use interesting point of view. I have this point of view about money. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about money. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about money. And it just begins to show you these places where you might have a judgment. And the moment you look at that judgment, it's ready to go. That's how quick it is. You don't even have to do anything if you're just willing to be present with that point of view, and you're willing to, oh, is that really true? Is that, or it's just a point of view? You see, you can now begin to invite all the possibilities with money, all the new areas from which you can receive, all the new people that you were judging till now from which you could receive. Maybe you have a judgment about some person in your life, right? Maybe you're right in having the judgment. Maybe you're right in saying, they were mean to me, or they were bad, or they were selfish. But with that judgment, you're trying to hold on to that judgment, you're also holding on to that wall that is pushing the receiving away, that's keeping the receiving out. You see, so if you're willing to be, okay, cool, I don't want to be right, I want to be free. Would you rather be free, or would you be right? Maybe you're right that they were wrong. All right, cool. So what? Is that really creating anything for you? You see, so this is the beauty of how the money workbook and the advanced money workbook now, after the money workbook, begin to open possibilities for you. So I would now like to actually just look at the questions here. And yes, everybody can hear me. Awesome. So thank you guys for being on. And if you have any questions, put them up here. I will take them up. Cool. So the first page of the Advanced Money Workbook is question one. So if you want to type in your answers, maybe you can type it down on the chat, or have them written down somewhere, or just put them down in your notes. So the first question here is, what am I refusing to be? And this is a question I've asked oftentimes in the foundation class and my workshops. And it's interesting. Sometimes nothing shows up. Sometimes you don't get what it is, but I'm not going to confuse you with that. Just see what shows up for you and let me know. So, what am I refusing to be that if I would be it would create too much money in my life? Cool. Three answers. Would you like to put down three answers to that? Or just one, maybe for now, because this is an intro call. And just see what this shows up as for you, what changes for you today. And I just hope it's a contribution, right? So, what am I refusing to be? This is your question. What am I refusing to be that if I would be it? And I'm going to frame it as you. What are you refusing to be that if you would be it, would create too much money in your life? Okay, so Gary gives this cool example of how he had once done everything he could for his classes. And this was probably, yes, of course, some time ago, quite some time ago, where he had all of these inquiries coming in and people were interested in classes, but nobody signed up, you know? And so he asked this question. He's like, what's really going on? And he realized that there was something he was unwilling to be that was not allowing him to receive those signups. Okay, because if you can't be, you can't receive. What you can't be, you can't receive. And the How to Become Money workbook also says that it's all inside. If you're trying to seek money outside of you, you know, you are the source, you are the energy, you are the power that creates the money. And power and energy combined, you being the power and energy, become money. I know it might sound complicated to you if you haven't done the How to Become Money workbook, and that's okay. Maybe you can just ask the question. So the thing is that you are the energy that creates the money. You choose, and then the money comes in. It's not the other way around, because a lot of times you have the point of view that, oh, when I have the money, I'm going to choose that. When I have the money, I can choose this. No, you look at all the places that you made choices when you didn't have the money. You know, you were willing to be whatever it took. And then sometimes we're not willing to be something, we don't know. And I'm going to give you Gary's example where he said, I realized that people were expecting me to be a guru, right? Where you give answers, but you tell people what to do. And he says, I wasn't willing to be a guru because my point of view is I'd like to empower you, you know. And maybe some gurus have the point of view of empowering. This is not judgment of gurus, please. This is not judgment of anybody. I'm just sharing a story here, letting you know that sometimes we have a point of view about something that we don't want to be. Maybe we have a judgment of somebody that we don't want to be like. And a great example is like, let's say if you're looking at somebody who did something with you in business and you don't want to be like that. You're like, I'm never going to do that. Somebody stole from you and said, I'm never going to steal, right? Now, when you're unwilling to be any energy, and I'm not saying when you're willing to be, you don't have to go ahead and do it. You just have to be willing to, because as an infinite being, you are everything. You just resist being something, being some energy, because you have a point of view about it, because you think it's bad, because you think it's wrong, or because you think you can't do it, right? So let's say, let's take a better example, if you will. Let's say you have a point of view that you can't do accounts, you can't do numbers well, so you're never willing to be the greatest accountant. Now, if your job or your business involves, let's say, accountancy or even simple calculation, you wouldn't be able to receive money for it. You wouldn't be able to use that to create more money. And you might shut off possibilities that even slightly involve even the mildest of calculations. You see, that's how powerful your point of view is. And that changes. And that's why we say that it's important for whoever's coming for. By the way, I'm starting the Advanced How to Become Money Workbook call series tomorrow. It's a 14 call series. We're going to be meeting every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. And we'll have a closed group where we're going to actually do home play challenges, call recordings, and everything that we can do to actually change our points of views around money, the deeper ones, open up our receiving. A lot of very interesting stuff in the Advanced How to Become Money workbook, but it's important that you've done the foundation class, and it's also important that you've done the How to Become Money workbook class, because otherwise this conversation kind of doesn't make sense. I hope this is contributing to you, though I'll try to keep it as easy as possible for this intro. So you got to start to see what you're unwilling to be. Okay, so I'm going to ask you that question again. What are you refusing to be that if you would be, it would create too much money in your life? And everything that does not allow you to actually clearly know, be, perceive, and receive that. Or you might go, okay, I don't know what I'm refusing to be. What is it? So, everything that doesn't allow you to know, be, perceive, and receive what you're refusing to be, will you destroy and create that? And we are going to use the access consciousness clearing statement on that. It's like a magic wand. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pocket, line, shorts, boys, and beyonds, that clears away the limitations that you have around the question that we're asking. So, anything showing up for you guys, where you go, what are you refusing to be that if you would be, it would create too much money in your life? And I'd like you to ponder that, or maybe just jot down whatever is coming up to you. Don't even think too hard, just whatever words come up for you, write them down. And I'm just going to read a little bit from this book. So, one of the key elements to having an enormous, amazing, and creating life is the willingness to receive. Because in order to receive, you have to be willing to be. What you're not willing to be is that which keeps you from receiving. And again, I'm going to ask you, what are you receiving to be that if you were willing to be it, would create too much money in your life, and everything that does not allow you to know, be, perceive, receive, and change that, will you destroy and uncreate all? Right, wrong, with that, pot, line, shorts, boys, and beyond. So, true receiving is being able to receive all the information there is. Everything's around you. The information is there. But when you have a point of view about something that you're not willing to be, you can't see it. You're wearing these judgment colored glasses. It's the capacity, true receiving is the capacity to perceive everything without a point of view. You have to be willing to receive if you are going to have the life you truly desire. And that's where the no judgment comes in. When you are able to look at everything and go, wow, that's cool. Like sometimes we look at people on the road and we go, why are they choosing that life? Why are they choosing to live in poverty? Why are they choosing to, be dressed so shabby, not have homes? And you try to give them money. Have you tried to give people money, people who didn't want to receive? Did they keep it? Did they use it to create their lives? Or did they just blow it away and then come back to you for more? Or maybe run away with your money, right? Or maybe you lend someone money thinking that that's going to help them. But did you ask a question? Are they actually choosing to change their lives? Are they willing to receive this? uh, People sometimes just choose poverty. It's a difficult concept to get, but if you actually start looking around your life, you'll see a lot of people who are just choosing it, who have all the opportunities for them. You can see them, other people can see them, but they'll be like, oh, there is no possibility, right? Because that's what they're choosing. They're not willing to see it. So if you could look at that and go, okay, what if I didn't have a judgment of that either? Like somebody being mean to you, like I said earlier. Oh, cool, this person is choosing to be mean. Now, what do I want to do about it? Not, oh, it's bad. Now, that's a judgment. It's bad. It's wrong to be mean. No, the other person is mean. That's what they're choosing. Just like some people choose poverty, some people choose meanness. Right? Now, you can look at it and go, do I want to associate with this person? Do I want to work with this person? Yes, no. But can I receive from this person? Yes, of course. But you don't have to talk to them to receive from them. You don't have to work with them to receive from them. You just have to not judge them. See the difference? So, you have to be willing to receive if you're going to have the life you truly desire and have no point of view about anything. Just observe it for what it is. So, a participant in the Advanced How to Become Money Workbook class said, as I asked the question, what are you refusing to be that if you would be it, would create too much money in your life? I became aware of things I was refusing. So, are you right now becoming aware of things you're refusing that are actually possible? So, what have you been refusing that is actually possible? What have you been saying no to? What have you been saying, I'm not going to do that because I don't like that. I'm never going to do that because, and you have a because there, a justification. So, I'm going to ask you that again. What are you refusing to be? What are you refusing to be that if you would be it? If you were just willing to be it, like you don't even have to be it right now. Just consider the willingness. Okay, maybe I could do that. Maybe. Right? Just that willingness. If you were just willing, would create too much money. Just play with that. Look at what have you been refusing. So if you're willing to be all money, if you're willing to be money, right? And that's where the How to Become Money Workbook gets you. Be money. I am power. I am awareness. I am control. I am creativity. I am money. So when you're willing to be money, when you use all of these five tools together, you start to be money. I am money. I be money. Right? When you're willing to be money, then you can have it because you are it. See, simple. If you're willing to be all control, then you can have control. If you're willing to be totally different, then you can have totally different. So, what have you made so vital and valuable about your definitions of receiving? Next question for you. What are your definitions of receiving? So, would you like to look at that? What does receiving look like to you? Is it obligation? Is it I have to return the favor? Is it I can't receive because I can receive only when? What is it? What are your definitions of receiving? So, anything coming up for you? Or even if it's just coming up as an energy, would you like to destroy and unclear all? Yes? No? Yes? Cool. Let's run the clearing statement. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pog, nine shots, boys and men. So all the definitions you have about receiving, will you destroy and unclear it all? And I was just looking at questions. If you have any questions, put it up on the Facebook chat and I'll take them up, guys. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pog, nine shots, boys and men. So whenever you define something, you limit what it can be and what you can receive. Now that's because definition by definition alone is a limitation. Do you get it? When you define something, you limit your receiving. What have you made so vital and valuable about your definitions of receiving that keep you from actually being that which you can receive? Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate all? Right, wrong, good, bad, what book, line shows, boys, and beyond. So again, what are you refusing to be that you truly could be, that if you would actually be it, would allow you to receive everything you have decided you cannot have, you cannot be, you cannot do, you cannot create, you cannot generate. Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate all? Right, wrong, good, bad, what book, line shows, boys, and beyond. So one more question, third question for today. What have you decided you cannot be, you cannot do, you cannot create, and you cannot generate? Do you have points of views of that? Do you go, I can't do that, I can't generate that, that person can do this but I can't, why? Because, and then you have a justification like that because what, you should get that word out of your vocabulary, by the way. Because is a justification to what you're trying to prove is right about your limitation, about the lie that you're telling yourself. So everywhere that you're telling yourself you can't do something, you can't be something, is a lie. Does that make you feel light? And there's this amazing tool in Access, light and heavy. It's making you feel heavy, it's a lie. So look at what in your daily conversations with yourself in your head, you keep telling yourself, I can't do that. Oh my God, I can't look like that. Oh my God, I can't speak like that. Oh my God, I can't dress like that. Oh, money, I can't have that much money. And these are very subtle, refined judgments. But those are the places where you are inviting the I cannot do, I cannot be, I cannot have, I cannot generate or create, because your point of view will create your reality. So what do you do? Interesting point of view. I have this point of view. Okay. Be interesting point of view with everything that comes up for you, that you just say, I cannot do this, I cannot be this, I cannot have. What have you decided you can't have? You're an infinite being. And the beautiful thing is, at the moment you ask something, energetically it's created. But for it to come to you in physical format, as an actualized reality, might take some time. And that is where we bring in control. We bring in time into the equation, and this workbook has amazing stuff about time, about possibilities, about commitments, about committing to your life. If you're not willing to commit your life, how can you receive? If you're not willing to commit your life, how can you stop the judgment? So, are you truly willing to commit your life? Are you truly willing to commit your changing your financial situation? And yeah, this is what I wanted to kind of bring to you guys today. And after this, we're going to do, starting tomorrow night for the first call, you're invited. Only the prerequisites are the foundation class and the money workbook class. So yes, the mails are going to be going out soon, and tomorrow morning I'm going to create the group. But I invite you to play with these questions, whether or not you join us. I'm inviting you to actually look at all the judgments you have about you, and everywhere you're not willing to commit to what you would like to have. Everywhere you're have the anywhere you have a judgment, okay, is a lack of commitment to yourself, is you self-dating, you putting yourself last, you not willing to choose that which works for you. And it does not mean that you exclude other people, guys. A lot of us have the point of view that when we commit to our lives, when we commit to changing stuff for us, when we commit to choosing that which makes us happy, it is choosing against someone, so I have to exclude them, otherwise they might stop me, otherwise my time's going to go away. Or time is a lie. What energy, space, consciousness, choice can you be to commit your life that would include you as well as everyone else too, that would create ease and joy and glory for you? And it's interesting, when you commit your life, when you're not willing to give up on your choices, when you're like, okay, how can I make this work for me and for them? Because for a long time, I would think that commitment to my life is about other people and they try to stop me. And so I have to fight them, I have to resist them, I have to kind of every time fight for my reality. You don't have to fight. All that it takes is your commitment, your willingness to include yourself in everything you're choosing. Make yourself first, make yourself a priority, and also not exclude anyone or anything. No judgment. No judgment also means no exclusion, right? And we'll talk more about that as we keep going, because there are going to be a lot of conversations. 14 calls is a lot, and there are going to be a lot of deep dive conversations. So if this is tempting you, if this is something you've been asking for in your life, if your monetary reality has shifted to a certain extent, not going beyond that, if it's just stuck to that same figure over and over again, this is my invitation to you guys, because these tools are really pragmatic ways to look at where you can shift your point of view, where you can look at things from a different perspective. Conversations which we never had with anyone. Nobody spoke to me about money. Nobody spoke to me about creating more money in my life. Yes, get married, have children, that's your life, and this is the best you can have, was something that I heard a lot. And that's what I bought. That's what I believed. And yes, I've created a beautiful life. I'm so grateful for everything I have in my life, but I'm not stopping. I know that if something doesn't show up in my life the way I expect it to, something great is going to show up. I'm so grateful to these tools of access consciousness, so grateful to Gary Dane and all the amazing facilitators I've been working with, I have taken classes from, and I would love to share all these tools with you, along with the Advanced How to Become Money Workbook. Because really, the way my monetary reality has shifted in the last 5 years, more so in the last 3 years, and how my receiving has expanded and received in so many different ways that I never thought I could. I never even considered that those could be revenue streams, you know, and how that has contributed to my family, to my children. My children have their own business now. They are creating money and they're creating good money. And they know that they would like to have a life that has money in it, yet not chase money as if that's the whole soul of it. You know, there's this amazing sense of, I would like to call it balance, though it's not balance, is this awareness of, yes, I'm going to have money. If it takes money to have a great life, I'll have it. But money is not what I'm after. I will still choose that which gives me joy, that which is commitment to my life, that which is contributive. And yes, that includes money too, you see? So, what would it take for you to be willing to have way more than what you think you can have? And it's surprising that when you just open up to these possibilities, you don't have to put your head to it, you don't have to work hard. You just have to be willing to be curious, to educate yourself, to create your life and commit to it. And that's my invitation for you guys. If this is interesting to you, I invite you to join in. Send me a text right away, and I'll add you to the group tomorrow morning. So we already have some amazing people signed up for this series, and I'm truly, truly looking forward to being with each one of you who is already signed up, each one of you who is just sitting on the fence to jump in. This is your invitation. If there's a tug, and guys, if there's a tug with something, anything, I'm not just talking about access classes. If you feel a tug towards something, ask, is this going to be a contribution to my life? Is it going to expand my life? And if yes, go for it. The money shows up. A lot of times we make money the excuse for not choosing. We make our health or our families or our children the excuse to not commit to our lives, you know? And really, how's that working for you? And if it is, that's great. You got to choose what works for you. But please don't make money the reason and justification of why you won't have a great life, because that's one of the places where we cut off expanding our lives. You make a choice and you go, okay, cool, I'll have that universe. Just make a request. And trust me, it will show up when it does in so many different ways if you're willing to receive it. So, thank you for being here tonight. And I'm truly, truly grateful to each one of you. And what else is possible with everything you choose? Just choose that which works for you. And see you somewhere very, very soon. Ciao. Bye bye.